Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
Okay.
I mean, it came
did
out quite a while ago, didn't it?
Yeah, we saw it a while ago, but then we've wanted to... Each week we've put it off because we wanted at least 2 people to be there because it's not the kind of thing that...
It's definitely the kind of thing that you got to bounce off each other.
Yeah, no, if we were reviewing it on our own, it would just be sad. It would just be really sad.
It just got to be one of us sitting in the corner just laughing to themselves about how strange it is.
It's... Well, it's just Pride and Prejudice in terms of the story, albeit with zombies. It's set in this weird, confusing world where the law's all thrown at you in the first 2 minutes. So basically, there are zombies, and there's a wall, and there's... what?
When I kind of went into it, I was expecting, so it plays out like the beginning of normal Pride and Prejudice, and then zombies show up. And I thought that would be... At least there's kind of room for comedy there, but it's not. It's like it's a world that's based around what if zombies came over. Was it when they're kind of expanding the empire and it comes kind of like the Black Death?
And so people are brought up around knowing zombies exist, and like the women, instead of being brought up to like learn like social etiquette or whatever, are brought up to fight zombies. And there's like a weird thing where some of them go to Japan, some of them go to China, but it doesn't seem to matter.
So their version of class divides in this film is that if you're poor, you go to Japan. I can't even remember.
I don't remember which way around it is.
If you're so if you're poor, you go to China or Japan, and if you're rich, and you go to the other one.
And one teaches you to fight zombies with martial arts, and so it's Pride and Prejudice with martial arts, a weird alternate universe, and zombies that talk. So they're not like shuffling with... It's very confusing.
So it's basically...
It properly throws you in with this like title sequence where Charles Dance explains everything. And you're like... It reminded me of like... If you never watched Game of Thrones and you just jump in at the 5th season and someone tries to tell you everything that's happened in Game of Thrones up until that point, you just sat there going like, what? Who? the what? And it expects you to know. So then it opens, and Mr. Darcy is like some zombie hunter guy who goes around like trying to see who's... Because zombies don't turn into zombies properly until they eat flesh.
Yeah, it's kind of like It's not like it's a bit like The Thing in some ways.
Yeah.
So that's a too positive comparison.
Yeah. So he goes around like checking to see who zombies are, like, and then he just kills them. And so it plays out as normal Pride and Prejudice with the kind of love triangle between
it's kind
Elizabeth
of
Bennet, Mr. Darcy, and I believe it was Mr. Wickham.
I mean,
the other guy.
Don't worry, if you know the plot to Pride and Prejudice, you know the love triangle in a way. I mean, it's kind of just... It's just...
If you've seen Bridget Jones, then you know the plot.
But it's the fact that it's got this random zombies thing shoved in, and it's... I mean, I know that maybe in the book it's a bit funnier, or it focuses more on the zombies, but it's just tacked on, really.
And they're not there!
They're not even...
It's like, there's a whole chunk in the middle of the film. I would say, I don't know how long it was, but I would say it was like a good solid 40 minutes where no zombies appeared.
Yeah.
And I was genuinely like, where?
What is happening? What's the... It's the fact that even when they do show up, it's the most random points. So, for instance, they'll be at a dinner party where they're acting like normal Pride and Prejudice, and then one of the girls will go outside, Lily James, the main that plays Lizzie Bennet, and then there's just a zombie standing there. And the zombies, for some reason, they can talk, like we said, but they're so eager to give away their evil plan.
Yeah.
Because they go up to them and they go, "Shh, someone's let us in." And she's like, "What?" And she goes, "Someone's let us in." And then
random cut, and all of a sudden they're inside a building. There's 3 of them in slow motion fighting zombies, and you're just like, "What? What?" It's like a music video started in the middle of the film, and you're just like, "Wait, what?" There's no build up. There's no like, the zombies are inside now, and then it cuts to it. It just literally cuts to the middle of it, and you're like, "Whoa, what?" There's so many points like that. There's like one bit where
there's another party later on where it has the exact same thing as well, where she goes into the cellar and there's a bunch of zombies there, and they go like, "You can't stop us now."
Then they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Like, we've been let inside, I think they say, and the whole. So so there's random zombies thing put in, but also the fact that it's about class divides in the zombiness. So, for instance, if you're a zombie but you haven't eaten human brains, you just function normally. And so they
but for some reason still deserve to be killed.
For some reason they still deserve to be killed. But they go to the Church of Lazarus, and it's such a...
it's so... overly complex for what should be a simple, funny idea. It's Pride and Prejudice. They're all sitting around having their dinner parties, and then zombies come. They make it so complex and so baffling that you feel like you need to read a whole book full of like lore and backstory to understand, and the whole point is that it's supposed to just be a high concept silly thing. And then they don't even exploit it properly, because the humour should be coming from, haha, look, it's Jane Austen, but then there's zombies. But they make them totally separate things.
Well, we thought that at the trailer stage, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it should be funny, like they should be sat around having dinner parties or whatever, and then zombies burst in. It's like, haha, that's funny, because that's not what Jane Austen is. But no, it's not like that. It's like they sit around having dinner parties, you watch the whole dinner party, and then you cut to a zombie film that's happening in the other cinema. And you're just like, what? It doesn't make any sense. A really tame, boring zombie film where zombies don't bother to show up.
I think it's the point that you also said that it's not like you kind of go in, you could kind of expect like an action comedy, but it's not. There's action, and then there's the comedy is then when they're sat at the dinner table and they're giggling about who's going to marry who.
Yeah, it's just the normal Jane Austen comedy. It doesn't, like, you confuse, you're like, is it a parody? Is it an homage? What is this? Because all the jokes are just normal Jane Austen jokes.
But
those, I can tell you for a fact, are not funny.
It's just, I don't know why you could be a fan of this film, because it's not a good, it's not a good Jane Austen film. I mean, I don't,
It's not a good comedy. It's not
I mean,
anything.
I would admit that I don't care for Jane Austen at all, but at the same time, I know the difference between a good adaptation and then this.
And it's so, I don't want to get too technical when it is such a bad film.
Yeah.
But it's one of the worst edited things I've ever seen.
It's so jumpy and it's so...
It's almost bordering on avant-garde at times. It's just so surreal. And like, you can tell that there's either been severe cuts
it did feel like there were whole scenes that were cut out.
Because, like we said, sometimes zombies just appear out of nowhere. Yeah. There's this whole plot elements are set up that disappear. Like, oh, there's the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. What about them? I don't know. They're there. And then they do nothing. They're just there.
Throughout the whole film, they're kind of setting up this big baddie, which then... the big baddie appears... in the shot before the credits. And that's like, it's not like Cabin in the Woods. It's not like it's the whole point of that is that it's ending. It's just, it's like, okay.
But they don't do anything, do they? They're just there. No. It's as funny as much as we're laughing, it's also really quite dull for the most part.
Yeah, there are moments where you laugh at it, and there's moments where you just want it to end. That's the two settings that you have throughout the whole film.
And the acting's fine. Nothing more than fine.
There's no bad ones, obviously, but I mean, just because they're competent
the sort of,
actors.
Like, the Jane Austen-y stuff's not like the costume design ain't that great. There's some points where it looks like a bad BBC drama. It's like really cheap. And
I thought it looked like CBBC drama at some points. Yeah,
like, so even things as sort of like easy and as sort of commonplace for these things as the costumes aren't that well done. There's that one bit as well. Sorry, I don't want to go too much into spoilers, but it's a bad film.
Yeah.
But there's that one bit where he goes where that guy goes, "Oh, just come with me. I've got something to show you." If I came up to you and went like, "Oh, James, come with me. I've got something to show you," you would not expect me to take you on a 5-hour horse ride across the country, because that is what happens.
It then cuts to a shot of a map, and they're literally going across about a tenth of the country,
the
entire
country.
Casually
walks up to her and goes, "Come here, I got something to show you." And then, like Indiana Jones style map thing.
You could kind of argue against this film is that a lot of people have kind of put it as, but it's quite good because it's kind of showing. It's taking the Pride and Prejudice where they're kind of typical kind of princessy almost women, and then they're saying, but no, they can fight, they can do all this stuff. But they only fight in one slow-mo scene, and another one where it's a fight against a human that she then loses. So there's no real fight scenes whatsoever. There's also, they set up Lena Dunham as like the best female fighter in the entire country.
Lena Headey, you mean?
Lena Headey. Who's Dunham? I don't know.
But Lena Headey.
And that just kind of sets up as like... they say she's the best fighter in the entire country. They never see her fight at all.
So it does feel really cut and really rushed and really just awful.
Yeah.
In almost every way.
What would you give it a rating out of, roughly?
I feel like I wasn't as angry at it as, like, say, a 2 would suggest.
No, I wasn't angry with it at any point. It was just...
It's just bad.
Yeah.
3.
I'd say 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.